ancient Molokai, the descendant of Hawaii's goddess of wind, Pa'aka'a, dreamt the Big Island's Ali'i Nui created a fleet to win him back as his chamberlain, or Kahu, known as the Ali'i's backbone. The Ali'i believes Pa'aka'a is on Ka'ula, a small island off Kaua'i, but Pa'aka'a is on Molokai. The Ali'i's current Kahu are two navigators who attempted to kill Pa'aka'a during their rise to replace him. If the dream was real, the murderous navigators might accompany the Ali'i. So continues your next installment of Hawaii's Wind Guardians, the Fisherman. And this is Legends from the Pacific. Aloha, and thank you for joining us. This is your podcast about Asian and Pacific Islander folklore and cultural history, Legends from the Pacific. Welcome to your long-awaited episode 158, Hawaii's Wind Guardians, the Fisherman. This is one of the longest stories I've researched, which caused a backlog in new episodes, and once again, thank you so very much for your patience, understanding, and continued support during the delay. I am Kamuela Kaneshiro, a native Hawaiian professional writer, speaker, and Comic-Con panelist with extensive film and television experience. I study mythology, I've encountered unusual things, and I'm a geek.
In the beginning, there was the Pacific Ocean. A canoe broke the horizon, piloted by Pele, a beautiful Polynesian maiden who dominated the waves until she felt safe to stop.
The audiobook of our Legends from the Pacific Book 1 is now available, narrated by multi-award-winning voice actress Emily Wu Zeller. Just click the link in our show notes to purchase our audiobook and enjoy Emily telling our stories today. Mahalo nui loa to our Legends from the Pacific members who enjoyed episode 0, the following episodes all at once, and other nifty benefits. B. Money, Kaua'i, Perry, Chris, Abram, Xander, Jaden, Thistle, Christy, Charlene, Will and Ollie Geis, Christopher, Meg, Jessica Bullock, Edward Pue'ohenki, Felisa H., and the Makula Guy for your continued support of our mission of spreading Asian and Pacific Islander cultural awareness. Dear listener, please consider becoming a Legends from the Pacific Patreon member today. As usual, I apologize for any mispronounced names or words and appreciate your understanding, because who would have known talking positively about cultures, sharing it with others, and even writing about it would upset people, especially since there's different spellings for words like Pa'aka'a, which is the name of our protagonist. Yet people still have the need to give our show a bad rating and review, which is why, dear listener, if you enjoy our show, please give us a positive rating and review. I'd really appreciate it. Now, the next installment of your epic. Pa'aka'a told his wife and their son, Kua, about his past, shared his dream, and drank some water. "Are you going to Kaua'i?" Kua said. "No, it might have just been a dream. If not, the navigators are still a factor. I'm not sure if one or both of them are with him, and they might have loyalists among the fleet, or in the village back on the Big Island." "What do we do?" his wife said. Pa'aka'a scratched his chin. "If the dream was real, the Ali'i's fleet will leave the Big Island, approach from Maui, then pass us and Oahu on his way to Kaua'i. We must get them to stay here, so I can assess if one or both navigators are present, and if they have loyalists among the crew. Today we'll plant u'ala, sweet potatoes, for the fleet and build a hut for the Ali'i. If it's only a dream, the potatoes won't go to waste, and the hut is easy to build and take down." The family planted potatoes and made a hut for the Ali'i. Pa'aka'a took Kua fishing and watched the horizon towards Maui. They returned with dinner and went to sleep. The family resumed their daily routine while Pa'aka'a made adjustments to the Ali'i's hut. He taught Kua Ali'i court etiquette and watched the Maui horizon. The cold morning made Pa'aka'a grab a kapa cloth. Kua carried their windgourd, and they launched their canoe to fish. The sun broke through the clouds and revealed canoes from Maui. Kua's eyes widened as the fleet covered more horizon than Maui. Pa'aka'a shook his son from his trance and donned his kapa cloth. Tell them I'm a cripple. Do whatever you can to get them onto our island, and remember our lineage. Kua nodded. Conch shells sounded from the fleet, and the first canoe approached. Aloha, the oarsman said. Aloha, Kua said. Your fleet is massive. Who crossed such a mighty Maui village that created this war party? The oarsman chuckled. Mahalo, but we are not going to war, and we are from the Big Island. Our ali'i wishes to retrieve a favored retainer, missed by all. A tear fell from Pa'aka'a's cloaked face, and he wiped it away. His name is Pa'aka'a. Do you know anyone by that name? A'ole, Kua said. The oarsman pointed to Pa'aka'a. And him? My father. We are from Molokai. Please forgive him. He is old, deaf, and doesn't see very well, but helps me balance our canoe. The oarsman sighed. My apologies, Kua said. I did not wish to offend. A'ole, I just hoped either of you were Pa'aka'a, so we can go home instead of chasing a ghost. My ali'i comes. You two must look away or flee. There is no need, Kua said. Our lineage allows us to look upon ali'i. Very well, the oarsman said. Who is your ali'i? We serve no ali'i. Mumblings broke out among the oarsman's crew. The oarsman tilted his head. You'll excuse us, since you're the first we've encountered who are of such a rare breed, yet serve no ali'i. Our kahuna arrives, and will validate your claim. The kahuna's canoe came to rest beside the oarsman. Kahuna, the oarsman said, these men of Molokai claim a strong lineage to look upon our ali'i. The young kahuna's eyes glowed. Aye, their lineage is so. The oarsman bowed to Pa'aka'a and Kua. Please forgive our ignorance, the oarsman said. All is forgiven, Kua said. It is an understandable mistake, and you were looking out for your ali'i. The fleet stopped around the father and son. Kua imagined running along each, then jumping onto the Molokai beach. Canoes swayed as the li'i's immense vessel halted. What's the meaning of this? Pa'aka'a recognized the navigator's voice and gritted his teeth. Yes, why did we stop? Pa'aka'a awaits us on Kaua'i. The ali'i's voice conjured nostalgic pains in Pa'aka'a. The kahuna's eyes dimmed. Apologies, my ali'i. We encountered fishermen who may look upon you. Kua bowed. Pa'aka'a, wrapped in his kapa cloth, remained motionless. Why does he not acknowledge us? Pa'aka'a's cloaked eyes narrowed. That's the other navigator. They're both here. How many of the crew are under their spell? Excuse him, the oarsman said. He is old and crippled. His son brings him for balance. How dare you speak out of turn, the first navigator said. You'll be made an example of, the second said. Ole, the ali'i said. I'm tired of this. Let's get to Pa'aka'a on Kaua'i. Kaua'i, Kua said. That's a long voyage from the Big Island. Please come ashore and rest. The navigators laughed. That's ridiculous, one said. You don't have enough food or the proper accommodations for our ali'i, the other said. We have much and are willing to share, Kua said. Besides, a storm on the horizon will strike you before you make Oahu. The ali'i studied the cloudless sky, then faced his navigators. Is this true? He speaks nonsense, my ali'i, the first navigator said. Surely my ali'i can see the blue sky, the second said. Kua laughed. Ali'i, how can you validate their words when they hide much from you? The navigators frowned. Insolent fisherman! Enough, the ali'i said. Mahalo for your offer, fisherman, but I wish to continue, and my men wish to return home. Aloha. The fleet departed. Their splashing oars faded as waves lapped against Pa'aka'a's canoe. He tilted his head to Kua. Don't hurt anyone. Kua opened his family's wind gourd and chanted. His mele darkened the sky. Rain fell. Wind whipped waves and tossed the fleet. This is a good place to stop, since this story is much longer than I thought it would be, which is why it took me so long to get it to you. Now, your story notes. This installment contained the term I. While some listeners may have thought our Hawaiians were impersonating pirates, Others know the Hawaiian word for yes is I, spelled with an okina, then an A and E. I'll see you next week for your next installment of this epic. Thank you so very much for listening and doing what you can to support our show. Mahalo and a hui ho.